Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Midcard Mess Podcast. I am your host, not one, not two, but all three faces of Jamal, and this is your wrestling news. I will be talking about the results of WWE New Year's Evil as it has happened last night. As of today, January 8th, Wednesday in 2025. Also, I'm going to be previewing AEW Dynamite tonight as the return of Kenny Omega to AEW after his wonderful high-class, high-stakes match with Gabriel Kidd. Also, the Young Bucks are the new IWGP Tag Team Champions. The state of Konosuke Takeshita, being that he's wrestling not only for AEW, but DDT, and as well as New Japan Pro Wrestling. The Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal is also happening, and you have Buddy Matthews versus Will Ospreay, Mark Briscoe for the first time ever going against MVP, Jeff Jarrett gonna talk about who knows what the fuck he's about to talk about. And then they also have a three-way for the number one contender spot for the Women's Casino Gauntlet, or the number one the number one spot in the Casino Gauntlet of the women's match at Maximum Carnage. So you have Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, and Toni Storm, respectively. So, yeah, man, I'm just going to get right on into it. We're going to first start off with the good old reliable NXT at WWE New Year's Evil. So the first match that they had was Roxanne Perez versus Julia for the NXT Women's Championship. And as I predicted yesterday, Julia ended up securing the victory. And, this match was not only a wrestling clinic, but it was hard hitting. It told a good story in between, Roxanne doing everything in her power to win this match. And she really showed why she's nicknamed the Prodigy, because Booker T was glazing the shit out of fucking Roxanne Perez though. And with all due reason, because Roxanne grew up in Booker T's wrestling school at Reality of Wrestling, so it only makes sense that Booker T hyping her up more than Julia, who came from the Japanese dojos and stuff like that. So yeah, man, Julia ends up winning. She does her Northern Lights bomb. She wins the match, and now she's the NXT Women's Champion, adding her name into the long list or the short list of Japanese women's wrestlers that come from Japan. I think Sari was the only person that hasn't had that type of success. Asuka, when she first came in, she won the NXT Women's Championship right off the gate, made her look strong all the way till she lost at WrestleMania to Charlotte. You had Kairi Sane looking good at the Mae Young Classic, coming in, doing the damn thing. Eventually, she wins the NXT Championship a couple times. Then you had Io Sky, also the same thing, winning the NXT Women's Championship a couple times. And now Julia's added her name to that list. So it is what it is. What I'm saying? I don't know what's next, what the future is going to hold for Julia and her title defenses. Is she going to face Roxanne again? Is Roxanne going to get her rematch clause or whatever not? Or is she going to face somebody completely, utterly new? I mean, we still got, what they calling her now? It's not Delta. I'm trying to remember her name. Zarya, yes. They got Zarya now. In NXT, you got Stephanie Vaquer doing the damn thing. I mean, and let's not forget to mention that there are women, the Lola Vices, the Jada Parkers, the Kalani Jordans, the Fallon Henleys, the Gigi Dolans. Those are NXT girls that are doing the damn thing. So we will see what this women's division is looking like. I don't think that the women's division has been as hot as it's been in quite some time. I think the NXT women's division is one of the best women's division on the planet. and that's not me being biased for NXT. I mean, like, I watch a lot of pro wrestling. I'm telling you, I watch CMLL. I look at La Toxicas in AAA and CMLL. I've seen all the groups in Stardom, like whether it's Stars or Hate or uh what's that group, Queen's Quest, the group that Piper Nevin and B Priestley, which is Blair Davenport and Tony Storm, all those girls was in those sections. So I watched TJPW and all these other the top Japan Joshi Pro Wrestling, like, what I'm saying. So it is what it is. Like, the NXT women's division is one of the best, if not the best, women's division in wrestling, and it's very hard to not argue. I mean, TNA has a case. AEW has to build their rosters back up and have like some kind of reset of, okay, these are the people, these are who's dominant, these are who's not, like, all that stuff like that. But as of right now, NXT has the best women's division in the world, and Julia is at the forefront of it as of right now because she's the NXT women's champion. We then cut to the back, and then we see Eddie Thorpe all fucked up and jucked up, and there's two niggas over there just fucking like looking at him, trying to see him over, and then they're like, oh, here comes Ava, and she's like, oh, here you are trying to fake an injury again, because that's what he did to get the title match to begin with. But he was like, no, I'm not faking it. Somebody attacked me. I don't know who. She was like, well, I don't give a shit about none of that. You are going to go do your match. You wanted this match. You faked your way into this match, so you're going to do it anyway. So I don't care. Then we cut to a Javon Evans promo where, he's talking about Ethan Page. He talked about how his jaw was wired shut, that he can't sleep, he can't eat, but he wants to get revenge on Ethan Page, and he's basically going to make him feel his pain, feel his wrath, and all this other stuff. So we'll see in the future. We know that Ethan Page can turn it up another level, but can Javon Evans do the same? And it's going to be interesting to see, because that boy bouncy. Alright, so the second match on the docket was Cora Jade, Stephanie Vaquer, Kalani Jordan, Lola Vice in a fatal 4-way match, and the winner becomes the number one contender for the NXT North American Women's Championship. Man, that was a mouthful. But again, as I stated earlier, NXT Women's Division is one of the best divisions in the game today. I mean, like, geez, like, from spinning back kicks to freaking headbutts to roll-up exchanges, big forearm smashes, double foot stomps, springboard mid kicks, spinning back fists, like, tilt-a-whirl head scissors, the corkscrew posada, like, everybody just doing crazy ass shit in this match. Everybody got their shit in this match. But at the end of the day, Stephanie Vaquer is the winner, and she's going to be the one that faces Fallon Henley for the NXT North American Women's Championship. Ava informs the Unholy Union, which is Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, that they'll battle Metaphor, which is going to be Lash Legend and Jakari Jackson next week, and the winner of that match will become the number one contenders for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, which is huge news for Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, because that's who should win this match. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Those two are fucking stars to be made. They are, I don't even want to say that they're the Black Iconics. Like, they're just them. Like, Metaphor is Metaphor. So I hope that Metaphor ends up taking that win and then eventually challenging for the WWE Women's Championship. So, after that, she tells Sarah Schreiber that she's not buying Eddie's injury excuse, and the main event is going to still happen. Like I said, Obafemi says that Eddie was not pretending because he fucking attacked him. And Ava tells Oba that the match is going to remain the same regardless. And then Oba has no doubt that he was going to walk out as the NXT champion tonight. Triple H and Nick Khan are showed in the front row, And then freaking they had like a OTM vignette, which basically like, you know, they were gassing themselves up. Obviously Jada Parker with what's this guy's name? I don't even remember their names. I'm sorry. I'm fucking up right now. But OTM with their little vignette. The third match, which was the only match on this card. Excuse me. This third match was the only match on this card that I think I got wrong. And it was Fatal Influence versus Gigi Dolan, Shotzi, and Tatum Paxley in a 6-woman tag team match. And basically, Fatal Influence did every dirty tactic that they could to try to win this match. But it was not to be, because at the end of the day, Shotzi and Gigi and Tatum won, with Shotzi pinning the WWE North American Women's Champion. So the NXT North American Women's Champion. I mean, Shotzi got the win off of that. So is it like, we know Stephanie Vaquer is the number one contender, but Shotzi just pinned the champion. So we will see how that turns out, how that plays out. Ava's in the back. Oh, excuse me. Talking to Ethan Page, and basically, like, you know, she was like, I don't have time for you, and this and the third. And Ethan Page is like, oh, I got time, and this, that, and the third. But then The Rock shows up. And then she's like, oh, perfect timing. He is like, no, it's not. And then The Rock is like, yes, the fuck it is. And you're going to listen to Ava as long as, you know, she's in charge of NXT. You know, I'm the final boss. When I'm not here, she's the final boss. And that shut Ethan Page up for a little bit, so you know that's gonna end up playing out. So then they start talking about The Rock starts talking about, I have not been to NXT before, but what am I to expect? What advice can you give me? And she was like, you know, you just gotta feel what you gotta say, and like, you know, you gotta just feel the people out there when you get a chance. And I thought they were gonna hype this up to, you know, like in the middle of the show type stuff, but no, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it because that was literally like the end of the show, probably. And then, so they had the fourth match, which was Charlie Dempsey with No Quarter Catch Crew and Lexis King for the NXT Heritage Cup, and this was a pretty. Excuse me. This was a pretty decent matchup. I wasn't too thoroughly impressed. I mean, like, Charlie Dempsey is William Regal Jr., basically. That is William Regal's son, so, like, you know, he's doing everything. He's doing all the Regal stuff. And, you know, it was a good little match. And at the end of the day, Lexis King beats Charlie Dempsey for the NXT Heritage Cup. So Stephanie Vaquer and Shotzi bicker on who's going to be the rightful number one contender, and Helen suggests that Stephanie and Shotzi fight each other, and then she'll take on the winner of that match. It just made no sense to me. Like, this was a low light for me, because Stephanie Vaquer just beat 2 or 3 other women, and Shotzi, even though Shotzi beat the champion in the match, like, these 2 women both have an axe to grind, but reality, Stephanie Vaquer is the one who should be doing it. The fact that she went through all of that shit just to fucking be in another number one contenders match, that's lazy ass booking. That's fucking lazy. It's stupid. It's ridiculous that, you know, that she has to even do another match again. So, you know, I don't get it, but, like, you know, it's kind of low, like a low light for me. Like, we just watched this match happen, and it's kind of crazy. Like, you know, like the fact that she even had to do a match again. Like, what was the point of that whole match? Like, you know, you just wasted a whole match. You just wasted a whole bunch of talent. And as I said before, NXT talent, the women's division is the best that it's ever been. So why even put that as a waste? You could have added more women. You could have did like some type of gauntlet and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the reason with that. But now we're going to be talking about the NXT Championship with Eddie Thorpe, Trick Williams, and my boy Obafemi. And I told y'all from last night, freaking Obafemi is that dude, and he was always going to be that dude. Now, the triple threat match happened, and like I said, Obafemi did everything that he was supposed to do and more. So, you have a new ruler of NXT, new NXT Women's Champion Julia. You have a new NXT Champion in Obafemi. Congratulations to those two. They're setting the tone for 2025, just basically setting that tone. And NXT got new sheriffs in town, so we'll see what they do and how they react after that. Last but not least, NXT had The Rock cut a whole promo. It was like a 15 minutes, like it was like a 10-minute promo or 5-minute promo or something like that. But basically he was just thanking the NXT universe, looking at the future. He was talking about how much goosebumps it is. It was like a nice little NXT moment that The Rock even showed up. It'll be like a footnote on, hey, this is where NXT is going, this is what NXT is doing, and just stay tuned. So because The Rock had the grandstand and hot dog, just like a Macho Man would say, he was hot dogging the crowd, so it is what it is. AEW Dynamite tonight, man. So remember, Ring of Honor is also going down as well on tomorrow night, so I'll be discussing Ring of Honor's events tomorrow. I'll be also discussing the results of what's going down tonight. But Kenny Omega is returning after the fantastic match that he had with Gabriel Kidd. Also, Jeff Jarrett is going to, I don't know what his old ass is going to be fucking talking about. We know that he wants to be in the main event scene. He wants to be the AEW champion. He wants to be the world champion one last time, one last ride. Like, nobody gives a fuck about that. Goddamn Jeff Jarrett. Come on, like, stop. You're done. Pack it up. Pack it in. Pack it the fuck up. Just like I said with Tanahashi. Just like I said with freaking, just pack it up, bro. We don't want to see it. We don't want to see it. Hulk Hogan, pack that shit the fuck up. Jeff Jarrett, pack that shit the fuck up. If you are older wrestler, if you above 50, like realistically, if you're above 50, then just pack that shit the fuck up, because let these other niggas wrestle. But MJF is also going to do some type of segment. I don't know what he's going to say. I know that he's done with Adam Cole and everything like that. So, got to give the devil his due. The 4 big matches that, you should be paying attention to is obviously the Casino Gauntlet match. And the winner gets a world title shot at Maximum Carnage. And then they have a 3-way for the spot, for our number 1 spot in the women's Casino Gauntlet at Maximum Carnage, which is going to be Toni Storm, Willow Nightingale, and Chris Statlander, all who are in different trajectories when it comes to their women's division. So, these are 3 of the absolute best in their division. So we'll see how that turns out, especially the emergence of Toni Storm being the rocker Toni Storm and forgetting everything that she did as timeless. Chris Statlander, just riding solo dolo, like realizing she's trying to change her ways. So it's like a baby face to heel to baby face type deal. And Willow Nightingale coming off of her impressive match that she had at Wrestle Kingdom, and Wrestle Dynasty. Even though she lost the match, but she was very impressive in that. So we'll see what happens there. And 2 matches, Buddy Matthews, versus Will Ospreay, and also Mark Briscoe versus Bobby Lashley. So that should be very interesting to see. Well, that is going to be it for me. At the time of this recording, it is just about to be 3 minutes till 7. So, go ahead, peep out AEW. If you haven't already, go check out the CW and peep out New Year's Evil. If you haven't even peeped out the legendary show that was Monday Night Raw. Guess what, people? It's on Netflix. Go peep that shit out. So, all right, I'll be back tomorrow, back again like I never left, with the results of AEW Dynamite and a preview for TNA Impact for their second show of the new year. So we'll see how everything plays out, and if any new developments come up, you can get your news right here at the Mid-Card Mess podcast. So I will see you guys on the next one, and that is that. Peace.